So strap in and get ready.
The leaders in AFL SuperCoach are incoming, helping you win your leagues and climb up the rankings.
You're now listening to the Insight AFL Show with your hosts, Big Horse and Skitty.
Good evening and welcome to the Inside AFL Show. I'm your host, the Horse, and with me is a bloke who looks like he's got a cucumber hanging out the top of his 4-1. Cucumber juice. It's Squiddy.
I'm tell you what, mate, I wasn't actually sure about who you were talking about, me or Hurls, because you know what Hurls has in his room. But yes, I'm here. G'day, lads. I do have a beautiful... I'm not even going to try and pronounce what kind of beer this is. It's Costco's finest, but I'll probably get in trouble for me trying to pronounce the name of this. So it's a good Chinese beer.
It's a Chinese beer.
Tin Tao.
Ting Chao.
Tin Tao. Jin Tao.
Yep.
Jin Tao. I don't know. I'm speaking. That's the main character on Rush Hour, actually. But oh well, that's all right.
Beautiful. And we've taken a slight detour, but that's okay. Hurls is back with me again for his second podcast today. How are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. I was looking at that, thinking the pickle juice might be coming out. You're not cramping up there, Squid. Is that what you're on, or
pickle juice?
Yeah. Get you through a long podcast.
Maybe. No, ladies and gentlemen, tonight, pickle juice aside, we are looking into round 6 of the AFL SuperCoach season. If you haven't yet, please hit like, subscribe, and the bell. We call it being the triple banger. But also, if you listen to us on audio, give us that 5-star review. Helps us get into the ears of all like-minded, banter-minded people who love their SuperCoach with a bit of bullshit in that on the side. So, absolute harmless fun we have here at Insight. Now, Squiddy, this week, we're going to get straight into your little show, which we call the Squeeze of the Week.
Little show's a bit rough there, Horse, but that's all right. It's one of the best segments going around, but we'll take that. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Squeeze of the Week. That is where we... all you have to do is guess the highest individual SuperCoach score of the round. That is right, as IJ has just done up here. As you can see, he's going with Brayshaw, 150. All you have to do, highest SuperCoach score of the round individually. You put that in the chat. Obviously, as we always say, it is the closest to the pin with player and number. No double ups. If you double up, it's first in, best dressed, because as we all know what happened last year in round 8, I'm going to say, when we had 4 winners, we're not doing that again. All right, also, that's the way it goes. But this week, round 5, finally, someone nailed it. It was fantastic. Love to see that. Little bit of controversy went on, Horse, and that's why we had to wait till tonight to actually announce it.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see, I write everyone on the board here, but I've been getting pretty lazy with that because I spent too much time at hospital and I can't be arsed writing it on the whiteboard anymore. I had someone's name on there, and he guessed Brayshaw 154, which was obviously one off the total score that Brayshaw got. But he guessed it the week prior, so he actually didn't win. So I went through all that effort, and he didn't win, so I didn't give a shit anymore. But congratulations to our man, Matty Gooch, who got Brayshaw 153. He was the first one to guess it. Well done, my man. Well done. First person to win Squeeze of the Week this year. Well done.
Yeah, well done. Graham, is it? Graham's Gooch? Yeah.
Sorry,
Squiddy
I think it was Matty Gooch.
Yeah, Matty Gooch. No, we're calling him Graham. So,
yeah. Hang on.
Matty, you are our Squeeze of the Week this week. Congratulations, mate. Send us a DM so then you can claim your prize pack, thanks to the guys at the Stand and Squeeze. But also in our Inside Unlimited League, 356. Oh, as he disappears, he was lagging a little bit. No doubt he'll be back shortly. In our Unlimited League, 356460, repeat, 356460. You have this week to enter. I'm going to close that league at the conclusion of this week. All you need to do is top score in that league to win a prize pack, thanks to the guys at the Standard Squeeze. And this week, Chaos 7000 AD wins the top score with a monster 2,440 hurls.
Oh, what a score. That's huge. That would have rocketed them up the overall rankings, I imagine, with that kind of massive score.
He went up 20,000 overall. Yeah.
Beautiful.
And Jared was second. His team name is Kelly Underwood. No wonder he lost. He went up nearly 25,000 spots. He's into the top 4,000. So there's plenty of movement at the pointy end. If you get your team right, pick a good captain and play the right rookies on field, there's not much difference, boys, between the top 2,000 and top 20,000.
No. Especially you look at last week's scorers, and probably the biggest difference was, did you have Zach Reed and Trainer on the field, or did you have them on the bench? Did you have Brayshaw captain, or did you have De Koning 118? There's 30 points. So it's like you do all those little things wrong, or you had some midfielders on the ground who sucked in your rookie line rather than your defenders who got the hundreds and the 80s, and all of a sudden it's 150 for the week, and you can really make up ground. So yeah, nothing in the rankings at all.
No, that's right. Squiddy, we missed you towards the end there.
Sorry, mate. I think I'm sounding a lot better now. Is that correct?
Yep.
Fantastic. Yep. Yeah, everyone just get your guesses in for Squeeze of the Week. Love that. Matty Gooch, get on to me or Horse as long as you're following Insight on YouTube, and then you can claim your prize, and we'll get that sorted out to you, mate. So well done.
Yep, we can see coming in Grant, Sheezel 165, Cheese has got Zorko 162. Jasper's pretty weird. He's gone Ben Mackay 157.
You sure that's not Oscar McInerney? I hope it is, because
it's Ben Mackay. Jasper.
Look, I am a big fan of Jas. He's a big fan of me, and we would not put Ben Mackay in there. That'd just be fucking stupid.
So it must be Luke McDonald 157 then.
Now that is what I'm talking about. Oh, sorry. There you go. Big Max. That's a lot better.
It's a bit different.
That's a lot better.
Ladies and gentlemen, get your guesses in. You will need to be first if there is a tiebreaker. Whoever gets the score first is pretty much going to win. If there's two people on the same score, it's whoever's first wins. Now, this is also, or the Stand and Squeeze, helping you drink responsibly and conveniently. You can go to the promo or go to the store and use the promo code IFS 2025 to get yourself 15% off everything in store. Got myself a little tongue.
I need a bigger one, Horse. Tell them I need a bigger one made.
You need one of those wine ones. They sell those ones.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, that would work. Actually, God, the Stand and Squeeze are good. They just got something for everything. That's great.
Yeah,
I don't think
they've got wine coolers now, like the big ones that would fit your cucumber drink in easy.
Hey, stop taking the piss out of my gin towel or tin towel or whatever that is.
Way to represent the brand.
Thank you. Sponsor it.
You're doing a good job, mate. But tonight's games, round 6 games, are brought to you by, that's right, Draft Stars, Australia's #1 site for daily fantasy sport. Download the Draft Stars app right now to compete against other sports fans across Australia and New Zealand for huge prize pools. No season-long commitment, and you can enjoy new contests every day. There is nothing like the thrill of Draft Stars. To sign up to Australia's leaders in DFS, use the link in our description. It's the best way to support the show. Remember, this is not fantasy. This is Draft Stars. Let's get into it, lads. And we're talking Brisbane Collingwood tomorrow night. Now, Hurls, we've already seen some news with who's in and who's out. Sammy Marshall, the draft pick that Brisbane picked up last year, is going to make his debut this week. And De Goey is back for Collingwood. Does this affect anybody?
No, I think De Goey plays mainly forward this week. He'll do his 20% CBAs or something like that when they need him to get in the middle, but mainly forward burst player.
Yeah, is it Membry? Is he out?
Yeah, Membry managed.
Yep.
Yeah,
gotcha. So we've got the burning questions here. If you're joining us for the first time, ladies and gentlemen, we jot down some comments or some points that we want to reference throughout the games that we're talking about. If you think we're missing anything, bang it in the comments and we'll address it throughout the show or at the end where we get to our questions. Squiddy, the top burning question for this week is Nick Dacos. Is he a must trade in this week? Now, this is vital for you at the moment because you're sitting almost top 1,500.
Yeah, well, look, here's the thing, Horse. Thank you. I appreciate that. And yeah, it's a tough one because Brisbane have already come out. Fags has already come out and said that they're going to be putting some a little bit into Nick Dacos this week. So think of that as what you will. I would assume it's going to be Jared Berry that's going to go with him. Let's see if he can keep up with him for the whole night. So I would, if you want him, I still think you can, it's tempting at the price, especially after that Jordan tag pissed off.
Yeah.
You might have to.
What do you reckon, Hurls?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I think he's someone we all want, right? And so this week or next are probably the 2 weeks that we're going to start our upgrade season with him. So I don't know if you have to go this week with the Brisbane matchup, but you're probably going to go this week or next with Dacos. The other, I mean, and we've had a lot of chat in our WhatsApp group this week about how do you differentiate? There's a lot of the same players get targeted by the community. So, 16% of the top 1% are chasing Dacos this week. They've already bought him in. There'll probably be another 16% next week if he gets 100 for Anzac Day. Do you pivot and go to somebody else and just say, you know what, I'll anti-pod Dacos, hope he cops some tags along the way, and I'll go somewhere else? I'm not saying you should. I just think it's worth thinking about, because if you just copy everyone, you're never catching up, right? Especially if you're in a 5,000, 10,000, 20,000th rank position. Then yes, it's great to pick Dacos, but is he the right one? You have to have some differentiation. Maybe he's not the right one, but you do have to have some.
Nick Dacos also has played 4 games against the Brisbane Lions. He went 151 in one of those games, and his current break even is 121. He hasn't gone over that in the other 3. So take of that with what you will.
Consistent 110-point scorer against Brisbane by the looks of things.
Yeah.
So
except for the 150.
Yeah, except for the 150 the pop off that he went off on. So I think he is starting to get his legs underneath him. I think that's the important thing. And for those that faded, they'll be happy to look. You can bring him in this week. There wouldn't be any arguments against that. But I think you could also wait a week as well.
Yep.
If you wanted to go your double downgrade this week with your Clearys and your Grosses and the types. So there's genuine conversation there and good conversation there. There's no right or wrong answer. It all depends on how you want to structure your team and evaluating your cash gen versus the primos that you want in your side. So, yeah, there is no right or wrong way.
Did you say have a tough run coming up as well, Collingwood?
They do.
My goodness, great. I mean, look, Essendon next week for Anzac Day, so Dacos will step up there.
Yep.
Please. Geelong the week after, Freo over there, and then is it the Catters? Adelaide. So that could be anything.
Hurls, do you think Brisbane will tag anyone?
I think
or do you think it's just Berry?
Yeah, I think Berry. I think they'll put time into Dacos at stoppage. You have to. You can't just let him run free. But they're not a traditional tagging type of team where they clamp down. Although Berry has done it. Berry's stopped a few blokes before, so he could go to someone. The difference, I think, though, this year is the few games that Berry did tag last year, and we don't have our man Deadly to back this up, but I like Will Ashcroft wasn't in the team. So you're not going to change your midfield mix that much, I don't think, to put a tagger in the guts so that you then disrupt everything. So I think they'll just keep him accountable at stoppage, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Hit him hard.
Can Will Ashcroft or Hugh McCluggage maintain their hot run, and should we be targeting them? So Hugh McCluggage is currently Squiddy, number 1 in SuperCoach as it stands.
McClugger, what a man.
The suitcase.
I mean, in all honesty, like, it's hard to say no because of how good he's been, but like, they're so stacked, man. Like, I don't know, you can't keep it up for the whole year. There's surely no way, but he's been playing awesome, same as Ashcroft. They've just been, unreal. I just can't see him keeping it up with just how stacked the Brisbane midfield is. Obviously, people tagging Lachie Neale out of games is helping McCluggage exponentially, but yeah, I just can't do it, especially at the price.
Yep. Will Ashcroft's been on a good run, Hurls. But do you think that for those that are going, say, sideways from a Ed Richards to a Will Ashcroft or a Finn Callahan to a Will Ashcroft, would you still consider that a sideways move? Or an Adam Chera to a Will Ashcroft even? Like, can you see that him finishing as a top 12 midfielder even?
Yeah, look, it's certainly sideways, but I don't know. I think to make that kind of trade, you must be thinking that Will Ashcroft is going to be top, stay 10 for the year. Yeah. And then go for it. I mean, geez, he's 9 at the moment, I think, Will Ashcroft. So he's been one of those, those mid prices we spoke about at the start of the year that some will work and some won't. He's been definitely one that has worked after a poor opening round where we sort of all thought jump off, but then he was brilliant from then. They have had the run, though. They've had the great draw. We all went Zorko and Neil because of the draw, and we just got it wrong, and we could have went Ashcroft and McCluggage, and we would have been laughing. But so it's not my type of trade to go to a Will Ashcroft now, because the ones I'm targeting at the moment are the ones that are value, and I think you're now paying fair price for Will Ashcroft.
Mm-hmm. Hurls, do you think Ned Long is an option?
I've been talking about him all week. I really would love to have the cojones to pick him. I think he can go 100 for the next 4 weeks and be a home run pick, an absolute belter. He's 280k. If he goes 95 to 105 for just 4 weeks, it is an elite pick, because you're then getting the score for a month and you're getting the 150k that you're looking for out of a rookie. The trouble is 280k is a hard one to manage, because you've got to go from a Davo, for example, and most people that are going from a Davo are making their 150 by going down. So you're forgoing that cash injection and hoping that you get the cash injection from Long. So it's a risk, but some that are willing to take it, I reckon, it's gonna pay off if you can have that month.
My worry, Squid, is that in Ned Long's 5 games this year, in 3 of those games he's been sub.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and Horse, I know what Fly McRae said. I know he came in and said, "Oh, he plays that well, then we've got to get him into the side." Well, what if he doesn't? What if he has one stinker? He's back to being the sub. He's out. DeGoey didn't play. This Collingwood side can rotate. And I don't know how many times I have to say this, right? In SuperCoach, there's one player we pick for Collingwood, Nick Dacos. Everyone else can get fucked. So that's how I see it in my eyes. So Ned Long falls into that category? No. I'd rather have Gross and back to 170.
I wish we saw Ned Long's game last week with Houston in, because what Collingwood did, they put Perham into Houston's role at halfback, which will probably happen again this week. So DeGoey will come in and play mainly forward. Long will stay in the middle, and Perryman will stay back. But the worry is, does Houston coming in next week force Perryman back to the middle, and then it's either half CBA time or sub again, and that's a big risk at 280k.
Let's not forget as well, they're also missing Lockie Schultz, who will come back into that side. There's only so many positions. Collingwood, Fly McRae can put the magnets around, and Collingwood are going to pressure the hell out of everyone. That's what they do. Long is expendable, and probably one of the most expendable ones. I'm not paying 280k when I can just bake the cash from Davo now.
Yeah. I'm not as sold on Ned Long's long-term job security as what others might be in the SuperCoach community. I think you just nailed it, Hurls. Houston comes back. Squid, Schultz comes back. There's 2 positions of prominence. Does side bottom move out to a wing, because he's played more as a midfielder while Houston hasn't been in the team? Like there's too many moving pieces. So
there are.
I think the conservative side in me says no. But if I had any agates about myself and wanted to do it, why not? With limited loop options this round, is it worth slapping a VC on Dacos this early, Squid? Or do you think there's another VC option in this game?
No,
I don't tag, so Lockie Neal might pop off.
Yeah, that's very, very true. I had considered Chockies or one of the other Brisbane midfielders, McClugger. Obviously, he's been absolutely unreal at the moment. Dacos, I just feel like there's another option in the Friday game that speaks a little bit more my language for a VCC loop.
Yep. Lockie Neal's last 2 games against Collingwood, he's gone 123, 129. So there's definitely upside there as well. Who you boys got in this one?
I'm with the Lions purely because it's at the Gabba. Otherwise, I'd probably go the Pies because I've had the number over them the past couple of times. And if Dan Houston was in, I might change that. But I'm going the Brisbane Lions by about 12 points. I nearly said goals, and I nearly committed to it. Goals.
I'll go the Pies. I think, and I did a little bit of did a bit.
It's because
of
his missus in the chat. Yeah,
No,
she's
not at
downstairs
all.
waiting for him.
I don't love the Pies, you know that. But I think Brisbane are
That's what you
just
said in the
travelling.
chat.
I think Brisbane are just travelling. Like they're 5 and
They
6,
are.
which is amazing, but they're not really playing as well as they can. And I think the Pies could get them. They love going on these road trips, Collingwood. They've gone straight from Adelaide to Brisbane. It galvanises them.
Oh,
They don't do it
and
very often.
we
but
will
when
not
they
hear
do
the
it,
end
they
of it,
win.
given they've had to travel 2 weeks in a row.
They had to travel 2 weeks in a row. When they do it, they've got a great record doing it. They just don't do it very often.
The fact that Harvey Thomas has played more games at more grounds than Scott Pendlebury, and he's played, 390 games less than him, is outrageous. It's not a competition. It's a Collingwood suck-off. That's what the AFL is. Unbelievable.
And that would be Squiddy's opinion. That's definitely not ours. Please don't cancel us. Next game we're going to speak about before we get too deep into that is Friday evening. Carlton versus your boys, Squid. Shitnet. Hurls, is he back?
He probably is. They've got no choice, do they? They'll probably bring him back because they've got Mackay, concussion. Then what happened? Kemp, unfortunately, did the Achilles, so they have no forwards to bring in. So they probably have to bring him back. I hope it's a 1 week return and that's it. So if you've got TDK, I'd be holding. But I don't think it's very, very promising. If he does come back and he stays there, we're in some trouble with TDK. He was looking at R1 and he might not be. We can't hope for an injury. I can't say that.
What's Carlton's forward mix going to look like, Squid? Medium to long term.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of Silvani, as Corey's just said as well in the chat. I call Silvani to play forward. I feel like they're just going to go to Lewis Young, and that's what they'll do along with Curnow, and they'll bank it in. Silvani's been awesome down back this year for the Baggers, so I don't think he swings forward. Look, they've got to figure it out. It sucks to be Carlton, but whatever, they need to figure it out. So let's hope they stuff it up this week too.
It's good for us though, as TDK owners, if they do go with either of those two, because I think Mackay obviously does come back, and Mackay will be the second ruck if they trust the third forward. So I think that's good for us if that happens.
Yeah, and they've also done young pinch hit and ruck before as well. So as long as we don't see shit in it, then we're happy. That'd be great. Let's hope they have other options. But then again, Young will be basically playing as the second forward because they don't have another one this week. So it's gonna be fun.
While we're talking about TDK, is he gone?
What do you mean?
As in, do you think he's off to the Saints?
Going.
I'll tell you what, I'm getting the fuck out of Carlton if the Saints offer me 1.8. I don't care if I never see a premiership. 1.8 mil.
I think I'd leave Carlton for $1.80, Squid.
I'll tell you what, as I'm leaving, I'll give him the old Bailey Smith. Just see you later.
Again, that's Squiddy's opinion, not ours. Please don't cancel us. Hey, Squid.
Yo.
Before I ask this about Sheasel, Clarko's had a bit of heat on him this week. And I don't think that's entirely justified.
Okay.
Clarko's done a pretty good job with your list. He inherited fucking nothing. And he's slowly building chemistry within the group, playing the kids together. They're starting to get to that 30, 40 games together now where it will start to click. We've seen it with other sides in the past that this is what's happened. Do you think that, one, the media is being a bit harsh on Clarko? And two, where's he going to play Sheasel?
The media is always going to try and do what they can do just to bump up a story. They have nothing else, so they're going to attack Clarko. But yeah, it's somewhat, it's somewhat justified. But North are playing a lot better than they did. It's just that they can't run out full games, and it was 30 degrees in Adelaide, and they all just dead legs by the last quarter. So that is what it is. But other than that, they've been pretty competitive in games, which is better to see from us getting absolutely slammed up until then. So I'm okay with it. I don't think I would love to see him get a bit of grunt Clarko back up into him, but He knows what works with his players. So I reckon everyone just back the fuck off, and that's fine. Like, we're not sitting there, critiquing Chris Scott when Geelong have a bad game because we know how good Chris Scott is. Same thing. Just let him go to work. They know the players better. It is how it is. So, but Sheasel, 50th game as well, to the absolute god himself. He'll play wherever that's needed. He can play half back. I think it's more up forward and on ball, just because his ball movement in to the forward line is so bloody needed. And we don't need, another pig disposal player down back when we've got Caleb Daniel, especially if Zach Fisher plays. So I feel like it's still up the ground a bit more.
For me, this is a cheeky VC option, Hurls. In his last two games against Carlton, I'm talking Sheasel. He averages 133 against Carlton in his last two.
Yeah, but does it depend on where he's played? Those games would have been in the Seagull role, wouldn't they?
No, the first one was. The second one wasn't.
Okay.
Bingo,
fair enough. I don't think I'll VC him because I just don't trust that they won't move him around in game. I still love owning him. I think he's a great player. That's fine, but I don't think I'll be VCing him. But
yeah. How do you think the Kangaroos' defense improves? They are leaking a shitload of points, Squid.
You need more muscle, more physicality down there, and that's just something they don't have at the moment.
Is Archer back this week?
Possibly. I don't think he's 100% though.
Okay.
I think this will be the thing. I think this question is linked in really closely with your assessment on is Clarko getting a bit of a rough deal. For me, and I don't want to be a Clarko apologist because I don't like the bloke, but I don't think in season is where I'll judge Clarko. I think what he did in the off season last year was go to get some senior blokes, right? He went and got Parker, he went and got Darling. They needed that. Mm-hmm. I think then what will happen in the next off season, if he doesn't go and get some defenders, then I'll say he's got his head in the wrong place because that, 5 of the back 6 are not defenders at all. They're ball users or they're, ball chasers, and he needs to get some blokes to help combine out. So that's where I'll start to judge that. So I've said the same about Brad Scott over the last couple of years at Essendon. When you inherit a list, you've got to give them 2 or 3 years to find the holes, plug the holes with certain draft picks and trade-ins and stuff. And he's in no different spot, right? They're coming from a long way back.
Well, also, too, you can sit there and say that, absolutely, and I 100% agree. But also, too, North don't attract, big market players. Right. We lost our big key defender to you guys for 1.5 mil. Right. And then the other, then we got to grab players that we can get. So we got Griffin Logue. Unfortunately, he's still coming off of his knee. So, they're still working back. Core's coming off of the shoulder, Rico. So the boys are still playing injured. So it's just how it's going to be. So how are they meant to gel together when they don't get games on the park together? That's just the way I think of it is. You need the connection, especially in defense. Like, you need that continuity. So
for sure, agree.
It's just all a shitstorm.
Key defenders grow on deadly shoulders because he's so short. And I know he's in the chat and he's gonna fucking hate it. Jasper, you're right. Wardlaw is back in the 2s this week.
He's playing.
Oh, he's back in the 1s.
He's playing Good Friday, baby.
Oh dear.
He'll help. I think that tackling midfielder will help because I think the midfield don't have those real defensive guys either, do they? And Wardlaw loves tackling. That'll help.
Yeah, you're right. It's Luke Parker, and that's it.
Yeah. Is Zach Fisher going to get dropped?
Oh, I hope so.
Surely.
I mean, he had 29 disposals.
We did a draft episode for those of you that saw this morning's episode. We did a midday show with James Shishka, ex-Vic Country representative, who was on the show with us. And he brought up a really good stat that Zach Fisher laid 0 tackles last week. He took 0 marks. Yep. And as a defender with the ball being down there so much, he applied 6 pressure acts for the game. That's it. You cannot play in defense if that's all you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Especially with Caleb Daniel in the same side.
Yep, 100%.
Cannot.
What's going on with Cherry? I think he's just working his way back from that little nick in the hammy. I think he'll be fine if you've got him. It's hard to see him bleed so much cash, but he is going to be fine. Do not panic, ladies and gentlemen. Please hold on to him.
Yep.
But Hurls, I want to ask you about Matty Carroll.
Yep.
Not this week, but if he backs up his 50 odd from last week with his 50 odd again this week, is he going to be the most traded in SuperCoach player next week at, what is he, 99K?
Yeah, I think he will be, and not necessarily because he's any good, just because there aren't any options next week. I think why I wanted to raise this as a talking point was more so people are just thinking about their trade plans over the next 2 weeks. Like, if you think Carroll is a really good option, and he may well be. He got, what did he get? 50 something this week. He's at 99K, so it doesn't have to be a prolific scorer.
Yeah.
But he looks to be the only bloke on the bubble next week. And if you don't like him, then you might have to just adjust how you do your trades this week to free up cash so that next week you're not looking for someone to go down to. If you do think he's going to be okay, or you're comfortable with a 99K bloke who, I don't know what his job security's like. I don't know if he'll stay in the team for long. Maybe it is a downgrade next week, but yeah, it's just one to look out for.
I think he's just replacing Cowan. Well, he's got that hamstring, so
yeah. So that's what I mean. Do you want
Gambarelli
another?
we got to keep moving on, lads. We've still got another 7 games to go. VC, C options, and your tips, Squid.
North to win. VCC options, I'm still looking towards the next game that we're going to go into, but I don't mind the play of Sheasel in his 50th. If you have Cripper, he normally takes the piss as well, so that's probably a good one there too.
Hurls?
I'd love North to win. I hope they do.
Hey, with chest.
I'll get on the North bandwagon, Squiddy.
Yeah.
I hate Carlton so much, so I'll pick North. No VC or C's for me in this game.
Right.
Now, Carlton coming off a huge win last week against the informed West Coast Eagles. I'm just going to have to tip North Melbourne at Marvel by 18 points.
I love that.
And my VC option would be firmly planted on. If I've had him, it'd be Patrick Cripps this week. I don't have him. Sheasel might be a shout, but again, like you, Squid, there's options in the next game, mate.
Yeah.
The next game is going to be Essendon Footy Club versus the West Coast Eagles at Optus Stadium over in Perth. We've got a doubleheader on Friday night. You'll love to see it.
Yeah, good.
Now, straight off the top of the bat, I've been a big fan of this kid for, a couple of weeks since he's come into the senior side, but even before this in the preseason. Is he a must-have? I'll cover this one, boys. Yes. Mm-hmm. Why? Okay. Because he plays with fucking ticker. If you see the way that he went about it in West Coast midfield last week, even though they were getting smashed against Carlton, he was still chasing. He was still trying to get the hard ball. He was outmatched by the likes of Hewitt and Cripps for size, but still fucking cracked in. And that's the type of shit that Minnie would have loved to have seen. And it's going to be, by mid-year, it's going to be him and a young kid by the name of Luca Grego, a little fiery redhead that's in the waffle that I dare say may even debut this week. These two kids are going to carry their midfield for years to come. So is he a must-have this week? Yes, he is.
Okay. Love that.
Good enough for me.
Mm-hmm. Should we pick El Hawley, Hurls, even though he's been sub twice in a row?
I've got no confidence that he'll not be sub-affected. The hard thing will be if he's not the starting sub this week, because that'll be do we jump on now? But I don't know. I don't trust that he won't be sub next week then. So I'd love to pick him. I think he's a great point scorer if he gets full games, but I just don't trust that he will get full games. So for me, it's pass over El Hawley.
Cheese in the chat. Where's my boy Bo Allen? I can tell you, mate, that there was a little news release today saying that he's had a very inconsistent start to the year with his health. Minnie wants to get a couple of games in a row with him at waffle level before he considers him for selection in the AFL side. So I dare say, at the very least, he's probably 3 weeks away.
He did also say that he has a really bad illness and it keeps just kind of popping up and just getting him at a bad time. So that doesn't sound good to me.
That's probably like a glandular fever or something. It is known to get quite a few rookies to start the year anyway. Now, Squid, I'm going to ask you, mate, what do we expect from Marriage? And there was a great man, Ivan Maric, that played for the Richmond Footy Club back in the day. So I'm going to call him Ivan now.
Good mullet too.
Does Gov hurt him?
Somewhat, because I think Gov did take a fair amount of his kick-ins for some stupid reason when he was in the team, but that's all right. Let's hope Essendon kick a shitload of points. And yeah, I think Maric should be able to look. Maric's intercept ability will obviously rise with McGovern in the side. It's just that, there might be not as much kicking opportunity, and they'll look for McGovern rather than just giving the ball to Maric every single time. But still, I'm holding.
I want, for anyone that's got Twitter, go and follow a friend of the channel and fellow Patreon subscriber CWT on Twitter. He wrote up some really good, intelligent info on Ivan, as he's now known, on Twitter, and the pros and cons as to whether you run with him, whether you pick him, whether you fade him, whether you trade him. Now, all right, we'd love to see that. Tim Kelly likely return for West Coast this week, which may be bad news for Clay Hall, but we knew that last week. If you want a good read about Big Ivan and the way that he goes about it down back for West Coast and how having Gov there may potentially help him, go and read that. I'm not going to repeat it here, but it's a bloody good read. Now,
it is.
Will the Bombers rookies be the ones to field this week? Reid, Pryor, Kako, Hurls.
I think Reid is a field every week. He's not going to get 103, 104 every week. It was a good matchup last week. But I think he is the one that they want Ridley kicking to exit D50. So there's going to be a lot of little chip kicks from Reid to Ridley and vice versa to get the ball moving at the angles to get out of defensive 50. So Reid I would field every week for the next little while. Pryor I would avoid fielding if you can, because I think he plays a little more lockdown. Now this week he might not have to, but he's still going to be a little bit more lockdown than the others. And I think if you've got the opportunity, I would love Stone to be omitted this week for GWS so that I can loop Kako, because I think he's an opportunity to get 80 or 90 spike game this week. The small forwards against West Coast have been feasting, but I don't trust him enough to just straight up field him. Yeah. But I'd love to be able to loop him.
Do you know a fun fact about Essendon legend Jaden Laverty? He had a triple-double against West Coast last year, 18 kicks, 10 handballs, 11 marks. Probably the last time he played AFL and probably the last time he will play AFL. Now,
he's one of the worst players to put on the Essendon jersey, and that is saying something.
Do you know what?
Bradley exists.
He's a key defender. You could use him at North.
Probably.
Yeah. Now, for me, I'm with you, Hurls, on that one. I think Reid you have to field. I think this is a week where you can field Pryor, and it's due to the fact that West Coast have a serious lack of any forward presence, and especially with the question marks over Waterman again this week. So if Waterman's out, I think there'll be I think it'd be reasonable to expect a 75 to 80 out of Pryor.
But what about if you're making a decision around? So most people have got Bice at D5, I would say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Maybe sliding up to D4, depending on how you structure your mid defense swings.
Yep.
And then you've got Reid. We've said Reid you should be fielding. So if you can only do Trainer or Pryor, what are you doing?
I'm putting one in my flex.
Okay, so play both. And take a midfield rookie off the field or something like that. Fair call.
Yep.
Well, who would you, for those that can't do that, who would you choose out of Pryor and Trainer if you had to? Because that is currently what I'm doing.
Who do Richmond play?
Freo?
Richmond play Freo.
Gold Coast. Gold Coast.
Oh, Gold Coast, which really suits halfback. So I think Trainer for sure.
Yeah, I think Trainer too.
I think Trainer too.
Let's go with this, Squid, because you brought up some really good stuff to us in the Insight community this week about Sam Draper. So there's a lot of guzzling going on about the Ned Longs in the world and all that sort of jazz, but someone that's been looked over that has a ruck forward DPP who is 400K, who's going to be the R1 for their team for the remainder of the year with the ACL to Nick Bryan, is Big Drapes. Talk to me. Sell the people at home. Why could we pick this guy after going 110 last week as the sole ruck?
Well, honestly, Horse, if they don't pick him, I don't give a shit because then that's a good pod for me. But I'm just trying to help the boys out. So that's what I do. But look, it's an R1. It's one of the best positions in footy to be able to generate Supercoach points from. It's now just him. They're not going to bring Todd Goldstein in, are they, boys?
I don't think so.
I wouldn't rule it out, Squiddy.
Oh, really? Really?
I don't. I hope it doesn't happen. But there's a school of thought that Brad
against West
prefers
Coast.
2 rucks. I wouldn't bring anyone in against West Coast. I would bring 2 meter Peter in for Anzac Day for sure, because that would be the chop out. But we know that Essendon are the only team up until this week that were playing 2 rucks, so we know he loves it. I don't know.
Yep. I mean, look, I'm good again. Like this week, I don't think he will. Next week, I don't think they will do the double ruck against North the week after. I could potentially see that there to bring Goldstein in. That I don't think so. I'm with Draper. Draper only needs to be able to average around about 100 for me to make this worthwhile. 400K, the cheapest we're going to get him. Love it. I am 100% in on Sammy Draper. 400K in the forward line. $100,000 cheaper than going to Petrarca or Warner straight away. So, yeah, I'm running with Drapes.
So are you using him as a stepping stone, Squiddy, or are you thinking he's an all-season keeper?
Well, here's the thing, Hurls, because I'm projecting him to be an all-season keeper and have him finish top 8 forward, right? He only has to average, let's say, 98 or so to be a top 8 forward. Fine there. If not, if he gets, 90 or so and he's still around that 480K mark, all I've done is just go Davidson to him and I'm still use that cash and I can just generate it from later on if I really, really need to. I have faith in him. It's got a nice little backup if need be. But other than that, I'm loving it.
I love it. I love the pick. I think it's just one of those super coach picks that makes or breaks your season. And I love you doing it while you're in that. Where are you? 1500th. This could be that pick, right? That gets you. I love the risk. It's great.
Could easily blow up in my face here, but he is an absolute pod and a half, and no one else wants it, so that's fine.
The downside isn't, like you said, though. The downside isn't that bad. Like if he shits the bed in 2 weeks, it costs you a trade. So be it.
Exactly.
Essendon by how much, Squid?
I saw somewhere on Twitter that Daisy Thomas has tipped the Eagles not jokingly this week, and I went, "Whoa, you're kidding!" Because even I think that's ridiculous. Bombers by 50.
Hurls?
Yeah, I think about the 40 to 50 Marcus and don't historically absolutely belt sides. So I think it'll be somewhere around that 8-goal mark. If our mate W Train was playing, I'd be a little bit more worried because I think they could sort of worry us at that end. But if he's out and their midfield is in a bit of pain, so I'd say 40 to 50.
Yeah, I'll say 5 goals.
Puddin definitely, if he's back, then that really changes a lot of how much goals West Coast can negate. If they don't have Puddin, they're fucked.
Negate or kick? He's a forward.
No, you're talking about Gov.
Yeah, I'm talking about Puddin McGovern.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Waterman. Sorry, mate.
No. Sorry, Puddin McGovern. He will negate a lot of what Essendon can kick, and that's where it's going to differentiate on the scoreboard.
Yep. Kako to kick 9, Essendon by 370. Next game is Melbourne versus Fremantle.
Non-biased here, ladies and gentlemen.
No, none whatsoever. Melbourne versus Freo at the MCG. There's probably going to be about 250 people turn up to this game. Petrarca, DPP Squid. Are we interested?
Just quickly as well. That last game is where my VC option completely lies, and I'm circling Zach Merritt.
Oh yeah.
Great
100%.
If I've got a loop later, like at the moment, my only loop is Bo Allen. If there's an option for a Stone or a Henderson to be out, then I'll be VC Merritt as well.
Yeah. Mine's Boyd if he doesn't play. If not, then I'm fucked. But that's all right. I'll just crack on Merritt. That's all right. Petrarca. Love the DPP to forward. I think I can wait a little bit for it, so that's no wuckers. And that's just where I'm going to go with it. I'll wait one more week and then I'll judge on that because the D's are scaring me with how badly they're playing.
They're terrible, aren't they?
Horrid.
I saw some stats. I saw some stats today. It was interesting, and I wrote a few points out of the Champion Data sort of SEN segment. Melbourne are the third quickest ball movement team in the AFL.
Mhm.
And they're winning clearance, first possession clearance at a rate of plus 26. But
Huge.
from first possession to actual clearance, they're minus 36. So they win the first hands on it, and then somehow between first possession to second possession, they lose it. And when it does go in with their quick ball movement, because they're trying to speed the play up, it's like a trampoline out. They're tinkering so much with their game style that the players are confused. And maybe that will click one day, but I don't know. There was a really good segment on 360 tonight about it as well, where Horse and Simo were saying this kind of stuff is hard to fix in season. So it might be pain all year.
100%. And their forward line is still shit.
Yeah.
Great analysis, me.
No,
Who
it's
plays
100% the problem.
I know it is.
Who plays the
3
second?
years.
Who plays the second ruck for Freo with Jackson still injured and Voss copping 3 weeks? And does this mean Maxi Gawn is a sneaky C option?
Yeah, well, the rumor was it's going to be Draper in the chat this week. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. Maybe, I mean, this week Draper will have no one to play on down that end anyway, so it might be worth putting him as the second ruck. I don't know. And is Gawn an option for sure with this matchup? Darcy looked way slow at the minute. He looked very underdone. They're playing him because they've got no option until Jackson's back from his hammy. So Gawn is a definite option if you want to go there.
I still think Darcy's a bit underdone too, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
What do we do with Clary? Oh, I can tell you. And you're holding him. And it's for these reasons. His next 3 games, Fremantle, Richmond, West Coast. That's all.
Brilliant
It's a
analysis,
fixture
Horse.
hold.
Move on.
It's a fixture hold, isn't it, really?
Oh, 100%. What happens if he bumps his average from... He's averaging nearly 98 Supercoach points per game.
Yep.
That's nearly 7 more than Finn Callahan.
Yep.
So if we,
I think though.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I think I've now come to the conclusion though that he's not a keeper anymore. But I think holding him till he's bye is still smart.
Agreed. Let's make that call after the bye. That's where we draw the line in the sand here.
Is Brayshaw going to be M1 Squid?
Oh, mate, he's unbelievable. He is absolutely taking the piss. And the good thing for Brayshaw rather than Sarong is that Sarong is currently, I'm pretty sure he's 3rd in disposals this season. Brayshaw's nowhere near it. Brayshaw's doing it with the amount of tackles and pressure that he's able to lay, and that's why he's getting such super scores. And he's getting good amount of disposals. So, yep, I love it. I wish I took Brayshaw over Sarong.
I have both.
Beautiful.
And don't mind it.
Beautiful. Horse, when they get Jackson back too, and they have Darcy Jackson rotating, and then they get full ruck service for Sarong and Brayshaw the whole game, oh my God, you're going to be absolutely laughing.
Yep. What do you make of Sarong? Do you think it's just a matter of time before he goes bang?
What else can he do? He's averaging like 30 disposals.
Yeah, I think it's just an efficiency thing right now.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And he started slow last week.
Yeah.
He's
2 games in a row now.
Was he like 9 points at quarter time or something? And then once you're back there, it's bloody hard to come back.
Good stats by our analysis man,
4
Deadly.
tags.
3rd in disposals in the AFL and 4 tags in 5 games so far.
That is valid.
Yeah, but
I did forget about the tags. I'm just getting pissy.
The tags are stopping his efficiency, perhaps, rather than him getting the footy, and he's just not getting any of that easy ball that you need. Like you need both the hard ball and the easy ball to get the big scores, and he's probably only getting one way at the minute.
Yep. What do we make of the Melbourne rookies? Xavier Lindsay and Jack Henderson. Well, for me, Henderson's gone. He's reached his maximum point value, and now he's got a 50 break even. He's probably going to start losing money.
Yeah. I literally said that to Hurls last week. Hurls I think it was Doc said, do I take the 50 or do I bank on Henderson to beat it? I said, take the 50. There's no bloody way Henderson's beating him. Just take it.
you did say that.
I was on the money.
I think Henderson's only way of surviving in my team is if he's omitted, because then I'll use him as a loop.
Good call.
And I'll worry about it next week. But if he's playing, he's out because he will start losing cash.
Lindsay.
I think Lindsay though, I think Lindsay's a hold. I think one thing to keep an eye out with Lindsay, he does have a break even that's getting up a bit, but he's still got the 9 in his system. And that 9 goes out of the system after this week. And so if he can manage a 50 or a 60 this week, then that break even will drop a bit and he'll be a cash cow again. So I think if you don't have to move Lindsay, I'd hold him.
Hurls, great analysis, but all you had to say was Fremantle, Richmond, West Coast, next 3 games. Don't worry about it, boys. We're holding Xavier Lindsay.
Yeah, good call. I hope they put him back to the wing though, just quietly. I don't like stuffing around with the first yearers. I was happy when he was playing wing.
Nah, but that's Windsor's position. The other reason that he got that whole go in the first round is because Windsor wasn't playing.
Yeah.
Is this the week that Melbourne's forward line actually works?
Nah.
Nah. And at the G, Fremantle is shit there, but they're going to win.
Yep, Freo are going to win.
Angus Brayshaw, captain.
You mean Andy?
That's twice you've called him Angus.
That's twice today. I've called him Angus. Andrew Brayshaw.
Respect to Angus, though.
Yeah. Andrew Brayshaw.
There you go.
I miss Gus.
Gorn is a C option big time.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've just heard back from our man Damo from the Footy Mailbag, who's crazy Freo, and he thinks that it genuinely could happen that Josh Draper is the second ruck. So
Shit,
there you
righto.
go.
Hey, someone find me ka-ching on Draper Dat. That'd be fantastic, Kizza. Thank you, bye boy.
Next game, Adelaide versus GWS. I think this is going to be an absolute cracker, boys.
Oh, yeah.
4:15
Game of the
Adelaide
round.
Oval, Saturday afternoon, game of the round. Can Adelaide bounce back? Hurls?
Well, they've got to, don't they? It's going to be hard, but last week wasn't counted as a home game because gather round. It's just a little bonus in Adelaide. But you can't, if you want to be a top 4 contender or a real option in finals and you're an interstate team, you've got to win your home games.
Mm-hmm.
So they've got to bounce back.
Yep. Who does Bedford go to, Squid?
Great call there, Horse. I don't think it's Dawson. It's probably Slug. As weird as that sounds, I think that could genuinely be the option of him go to Sligo.
Mm-hmm.
Got to be Rankin, doesn't it?
Oh, that's even a better call. Yeah.
Yeah. If
I
Rankin
would go
starts
to Rankin
forward,
if I was them.
As soon as Rankin goes in the guts,
but he won't
Bedford
start
has
forward.
good company.
Yeah, I think so. I think if Rankin starts forward and Dawson starts in the guts, I think it's Dawson, especially with Peatling out.
Dawson's so much bigger than him, though.
Yeah, but he's a negator.
Yeah, he is. You're right.
Yeah. So Dawson's biggest asset is his kicking.
Hey, Cheese hit it on the head. Feels.
Deadly might be able to tell us what he's done in the past. I don't know. I reckon it's going to be Rankin. Let us know, Deadly.
Honestly, I'll tell you who he should go to. Ben Keys, because fuck is he tearing it up.
Who's he?
Taking the piss. He is your forward king, is what he is.
Deadly. Notice
I'll tell you what.
I'll
tell you what might happen in this game, and it's as someone who bought Whitfield in last week, it makes me a bit nervous. I reckon Neil Bullen will go to Whitfield.
Great shout.
I think that's bang on. He hasn't done it for the Crom, but we know how good he did it for the D's.
Yeah.
What do Callaghan holders do, Hurls?
I think you got to sell, don't you? I'm reluctant to say sell anyone. Everyone I sell gets 150 the week after, so I'm bloody jinxed. But I think you've got to sell Callaghan and use his cash to get to. I mean, what is it, 150 or 160 to Dacos? Geez, if you can go rookie down and Callaghan up, I'd be doing that.
Yeah,
Squid.
I think this is the last week where you can be like comfortable with like Callaghan scoring. Like if he goes down again, like it'd just be such a pain in the ass to see him drop another like 10K and then he's down to about 400. Like, yeah, I've had enough of him. I traded him out like 2 weeks ago. So, yeah. I mean, look, hey, if you want to ride through it, fair enough. Keep going, but I can't.
Now, someone who is not being spoken about in the community a lot, and that's because there's not that many people that own him, and it's Tom Green from the GWS Footy Club. He's averaging 111 this year in only 2% of teams' hurls. This is one of those picks where when people are zigging, you could potentially zag and get yourself a nice little keeper that no one's going to have.
Yeah, I think this is one of those ones where I reckon Tom Green's about an M7 to M12, somewhere in that mix. So, lots of people go to the obvious and go, this week, Nick Dacos, bang, let's go Petrarca, let's go all these fallen guys. If you went to someone like Tom Green and he had a huge 5 weeks when the others don't, these are the moves that can really make or break your season. And I think he's safe enough to take that punt if you wanted to do it. Now, I understand why people are going to Dacos and all of that, and I'm not going to talk anyone out of that. But if you, like me, think Tom Green is about that M7 to M12 bloke, he's not a bad shout.
Can we trust Toby Green?
Oh, jeez. I like it this week against the Crom. I mean, look, Paddy Dangerfield took the piss. That's pretty much what Toby Green can do, but I can't trust him up forward to stay a top 6 forward.
Any VC or C options in this game, Hurls?
No, I don't own any. Like, I do own Whitfield and Rankin, but I think they're going to cop the 2 tags. So I'm worried about this game more for my premiums being underscored than putting a VC or a C on them.
564, my king.
Yeah.
I like Tom Green.
You know what's better than Tom Green going off and you've got the C armband on him?
Ryan from Astute Newstead.
Yes. Use the promo code INSIGHT for all your residential home loan needs. His link is in the description below. Proud personal sponsor of Lockie Whitfield. It's funny you should say that Neil Boland thing before because it makes perfect sense that A and B goes to Whitfield, mate.
He has to, doesn't he?
Mm.
If I'm Nixie, that's what I'm doing. Don't do it though, Nixie. I need him to go 130, but I think he will.
I think the Crom get up in this one in a very close one.
I think they bounce
back. Giants, JWS, Tsunami rolls them.
I tell you what is worth some popcorn having a look at this game. Thilthorpe versus Sam Taylor. How good a matchup is that going to be?
That's a ripper.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then even you get one of them's Iden's going to have to take one of them, which is just Buckley as well, going to either Tex or Fog. Oh, that's a good matchup too. This elite defense versus elite offense.
Buckley goes to Tex. Taylor goes to Thilthorpe. Himmelberg goes to Fogarty.
Oh, yeah, Himmelberg. Yeah, good shout. Damn, this is an absolute matchup and a half. But I think Buckley goes to Fog and then Texan cops Himmelberg. That's juice. Juice.
Game that's probably not going to be juice. And that's Gold Coast versus Richmond at Marvel, the place that Richmond hate to play. This could get really, really ugly really quickly. Gold Coast have had a pretty good run to start the year, not just from a fixture point of view, but the umpires seem to like that. And you know what? I don't mind it because, Richmond, Gold Coast are pretty fun to watch when they're up and about. So are they the real deal, Squid, or are they fool's gold?
Love them. Absolutely love what they're doing. We saw how, North were in that game until 5 minutes ago in the third quarter, and then they lost by 50 points. So, Gold Coast are an extremely fun brand. Granted, they give up the least amount of free kicks, and there's some iffy ones, but that's all right. Gold Coast, play on. Love that for them.
Hells, do you think we've got to be careful not to get too political here because there is a matter before the courts with Noah Bolter. But do you think he plays?
They wouldn't have been talking about him all week if they weren't going to play him. Don't want to get political, like you said. I don't think he should be playing, but the answer to the question, I think, is they probably do select him.
Yeah. What do you do if you own Bailey Humphrey?
I'd be pissed.
Yeah, speaking of fool's gold, this one did suck everyone in, didn't it? Including us. I thought his fixture was the safeguard for him, like with the 3 weeks that he had. and last week made that fixture even look ugly. I think he could go okay this week against Richmond. So if I have him, I'm probably holding for this week, but I don't think he's going to be a very good pick overall. You probably got to trade him next week.
Uze said he was going to play Bolter.
You are almost right. He said that he's definitely up there for consideration, and he's very much considering it. That's straight from Uze as well. So it's not 100% confirmed, but he's definitely up for selection.
Can you use the word Uze in Scrabble?
Ooze.
Be worth a lot of points.
Asking because I'm looking for every out where I could beat your misses. So, yeah, help me out if I can use it. I've got her covered there on the triple word square, whatever the fuck it's called. Yeah.
Damn. Make sure you use protection, horse. Far out.
Yeah, I'm going in, mate.
If you put Adam, I think it's with an E, not an A, isn't it?
Oh, mate, I'm flying. Is Luke Trainer a must-field defender this week? You nailed it before, Hurls. Yes.
Yeah, we covered this. I think, unless you only have 2 spots, then I'd go Bice and Reed. But if you've got 3 spots, then Trainer for sure. Gold Coast leak points. They don't care about the back flankers really because they just let them run free.
They just run forward. Jeez.
So short is probably a good shout too this week. If you've got Short, don't cut him yet. Let him have this week.
Got that, Deadly? Short. That's all. Which Gold Coast players are we targeting for our final teams? Is it your Noah Anderson or Anderson's Arc? Or is it, what's his name? The grass-eating guy.
Didn't we
Squid?
have a name for Nando's?
Nando's.
And then Matt Rao.
That guy. Is there anyone else that we can target? Sam Flanders, maybe?
Hey,
When
you
he
know me,
bottoms
I'm an honorary Gold Coast Suns member, so I will put my hand up for this. Tuk-Tuk's been awesome. Diddley's been pretty good. Ben King's been awesome. Matt Rao, Nando's, Jared Wirtz, Mac Andrew. Look, they're all bloody good. We're winning the flag. Fuck it. But for Supercoach wise, Noah Anderson, Matt Rao have all been fantastic. I reckon we could definitely get Uwu. Yep. Uwu. Yeah, all of them in consideration at the moment.
Pick everyone. I think the reason this question is a good one is they've got a lot of players, but you don't know which ones to go, and they don't always. Exactly. Which week is going to be the right one, and I think this is going to be a fascinating one for the end of the year.
Joel Jeffrey's not going to get 100 each week.
No, absolutely not.
Sam Flanders is going to be cheap soon.
He's going to be under 500k if he keeps scoring the way he is.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Can you see Matt Rao? Can you see Matt Rao this week or Nando's this week away from home, Squid?
Well, you know, Nando's is one of my favourite players, aside from North Players, and we know that he can't play away from home, but he's been a lot better this year. So I'm going with Noah Anderson.
Did you know that the last time he played Richmond at Marvel Stadium, he scored 144 Supercoach points?
Yeah, that's because he kicked the game winner after the siren, and he bumped up about 40 points after one kick.
Nando's does average 130, nearly 135 against Richmond too.
Oh, I don't know neither of those two blokes, but I think they're both going to smash it, aren't they? Like they're going to just rip. They're going to rip Richmond's midfield
Squid,
apart.
You missed this. Hurls and I were in a podcast this morning with James Shishka, and there was a photo of him from back in his draft year. I'll just pop it up here, where he's got the ball and Matt Rao is trying to chase him down. Pretty cool, hey?
That is unreal. What an absolute ledge. How come Matt Rao's arms are so much bigger than his? Oh, that's why he makes AFL. Love you, Shish.
Gold Coast by 100.
Yeah, Gold Coast by
They are the type of... How much did you say there, Squid?
Yeah, no, your microphone's gone, mate. I can't hear you.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
Hurls?
Gold Coast are the type of team that would love to just pile on the goals, wouldn't they? Dim a grudge match against his old club. Yeah, maybe 80 plus.
Yeah. And Dan Rioli to get 30 touches. Next game is going to be Sydney versus Port Adelaide, 3:20 SCG. I don't think this is going to be that great of a game. I think it's going to be a bit of a slugfest, to be honest with you. But the burning question is, Matt Roberts, Squiddy, or your noise still not working, mate? Nah, you're on mute, mate. Hurls, Matt Roberts.
He's getting to the point where you could consider it. I think I've seen a few people trading him this week. I'm holding because my cadence is in a double downgrade this week, so I'm going for the 2 rookies. But I wouldn't rule out the fact that I might trade him next week if I can go a double upgrade. So I think he's one of those stepping stones that's about the right price now to want to move him if you want to. But if you hold him, I want to clarify with this. I'm not trading him because of the role or because of bias or any of that. I think he's just had 2 circumstantial games. He's looked okay to me. He's just had 2 games where his disposal efficiency wasn't great, and it's just been circumstances that got 70 odd. So I don't doubt his output. I just think that maybe he's one of those mid-price stepping stones that is nearly ready. That's all.
Gotcha. Squid?
Yeah, no, 100% agree with what Hurls just said. I'm holding one more, but he's definitely on my watch to. He's going to pay my ass, but that's all right. Just got to wait and see how they go.
Yeah. Is Cleary a must-buy this week?
Horse, you tell me. Is Cleary a must-buy this week? Because we all know how much you've been eyeing him off.
Yes.
Very nice. Very good.
I
Here's
could
my
go
question
in
to you.
Yeah.
Would you, so let's say you have Cleary at D6, would you play this over Kako if you weren't able to loop?
Good question. F6.
Thank you.
What'd you say? I missed half of that. Sorry.
Cleary or Kako in your
So if you've got Cleary or Kako at F6 and you can only field one, which one? You don't have a loop, which one are you fielding?
Cleary. Yeah, I'm pretty confident that he's got a higher floor than what Kako does. Kako may have a spike game, but I think consistency-wise, we're going Cleary. Does Rosie stay at half-back now and is he a value buy? I don't think he does, and purely because Ken Hinkley came out in the media today and said that he'll play at half-back sometimes, but his position's in the midfield.
It'd be ballsy to move him, wouldn't it, after last week? Like, I traded him out last week. He got his 137. You can only trade on the information. Yeah, go on.
Half-backs for Port Adelaide have been fucking awesome. So Burgoyne, when he was playing half-back, back-to-back 120s or thereabouts. Rosie, half-back, 130-odd. Logan Evans had 110 when he played half-back. Kane Farrell, a couple of times, hundreds across half-back. Miller Bergman, a couple of times, over 100 across half-back. Everywhere else have been pretty inconsistent with their scoring. So it looks as though that halfback line at Port Adelaide is where they get their real run and carry and drive out of. So even if you're looking at it from a punting point of view, and remember, we Lockie Bramble responsibly and you only gamble within your means. But if you're looking at the Port Adelaide Footy Club and looking for disposal and what have you, it all comes from that halfback line at Port Adelaide. If they get moved up onto a wing, they're fucked. Like I've seen what's happened with Moraes after he got moved out of the midfield there, and that he's just going for 50s, even though his disposal efficiency's been good. He had 12 touches last week?
Yeah, but Sydney aren't usually the ones to let the halfbacks run amok either. Like that, Josh Dacos only had 15 last week against them, and I think that could be the concern. I'm really interested in this for a couple of reasons. Like I've traded out both Horn Francis and Rosie. Last week's move by Ken to put Rosie to half back not only helped Rosie get the 130 something, it absolutely helped Horn Francis as well because he played more midfield time and the mix was better with Drew in the midfield and Ollie Wines with Butters and Pickles instead of Rosie, and that just didn't work. So, you can only trade with the information you've got. So I'm not one to look back and go, oh shit, I kick myself because of what I did. But I am really curious what happens over the next little while to see whether either of those two are a trade back in 6 or 7 weeks. I won't make any trade-ins of those two in the next month, But in the back half of the year, if Rosie stays at halfback, gets defensive status, or if he stays back there and Pickles is now 110 averaging, then the data changes. You might make a different decision in the back half.
For sure.
My one question is, though, we've got that many options that Horse just said in the halfback line for Port. Then who the hell is it? So who can we trust?
For sure, yeah. No, that's why it's worth seeing for a block of 4 to 6. I don't think you should make I saw a lot of people trading him in this week. I think that's a bit risky on one game of data, but anyway, it's each their own.
Exactly right. Horse has literally said 7 different players that played halfback for Port this week, and we're only up to round, and we've only had 5 rounds played. So, fuck it.
Yeah. Who does Jordan go to?
It's got to be Zach
Got to
Butters.
be Butters. Got to be.
Yeah.
He's brilliant. Zach Butters is brilliant.
86 Supercoach points or something like that at halftime last week against the Hawks. He was absolutely killing them.
Yeah, he's a gun.
How do we get Zach Butters?
That's a great question.
This is a really good conundrum. And you could add Bont to this question as well. Bont and Butters as M1 and M2, really, let's be honest. They were M1, M2 priced at the start of the season. Coming in now at Butters round 4, Bont round 6. We've never had this dilemma before where you got if they don't drop in price, you're going to have the 2 best midfielders in no good teams, none of the high ranking teams. So whether you try to break some of the rules of value and try to get one or both of these in to be your differentiators could be a play, but then make no mistake, spending $640 is going to cost you somewhere. It's going to cost you you're going to have to find value elsewhere or you won't finish your team. It's just a fascinating play that we've never seen before in Supercoach.
No, you're right.
The good thing is, as well, is that Butters' break even is 146. So let's hope for a stinker this week. Because I'll tell you what, the temptation for me to trade Lockie Neal or Jordan Dawson to Zach Butters is going to be huge this week.
Question for the North Melbourne man.
Answer.
Do we bring Pickles back in now that he's pulled his finger out?
You can't do that, can you? You just can't do that because as soon as he brings him back in, he'll forget to have an ice bath and he'll go home and cry to his mum again. So, no, I don't think so. You made your bed. There's a reason why you traded him out. Lie in it.
Do you know who Pickles reminds me of? This is one of those Pickles moments that we had last year.
Dexter.
Pickles reminds me of the bloke that has, say, a packet of Lifesavers or some, the lollies that are in, they're like a circular packet, and you put them on
the icy pole,
and you put them. No, the lollies.
Yeah.
Yep. And you put them on the conveyor
ones.
belt. Yep. And they roll down to the checkout chick or whatever it is. And as she or he's about to grab it, he picks it up, takes it back to the start of the conveyor belt, and it goes again. And he keeps doing that to tease you.
Yeah.
He's no good.
It's just like an OnlyFans girl of cocktails. That's what it is.
Yeah.
He's an OnlyFans girl.
He has been, I will happily say he has been an error trade out. Trading him out didn't work, right? If we kept him and got Baz another way, I would be much better off. But he also is an easy trade out because I don't love watching him. I was hating every minute of it. And so, like I said, if the data changes after their bye and he's averaging 110, then let's reconsider. But I'm not even thinking about it until after their bye.
Spot on. I'm going to bring this up now. We are going to address the questions at the end, but I think this is really relevant for right now. Can we wait until after round 12 for the bye for both Port Adelaide and Western Bulldogs to bring in both Bont and Butters?
My God.
Yeah, for sure. I think most people will. I think what most people will be hoping, like Squid just said, is they pull a 70 in one of their next 3 or 4 games, and that with their high starting price, that's going to see them plummet in cash, and then everyone will jump on. If they get under 570, 590, something like that, everyone's going there. I think this is why it's such a fascinating play, though. If they don't get to that, then what do you do? Like, if they get to 570, this won't be a conversation point. Everyone will own them.
Yeah, exactly.
Too much value. Everyone will jump on. We'll find a way to get them. We'll get there. If they stay at 620 to 650, that's where it becomes really fascinating. How do you break your team or your trade cadence to get them in, or do you not? And those that do they get punished or do they get rewarded? It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, bloody oath.
And Jasper,
Also,
you're right. I am failing English today. That's impossible for those
Doing well,
Simpsons
horse.
fans out there. Yeah.
Hey, play on, horse. You're doing a great job, mate.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Captain's option this one, Squid.
I don't. If I had Zach Butters, don't mind it. Unless the Jordan tag goes to it. Other than that, I mean, shit. If we get halfback Rosie rotating midfield, then I love it. But I think it's just going to be a good game, and I don't have a captain option in this one.
Do you know who's not going to be captain? Peter Laddams.
The worst set shot in history. McLean.
What about Isaac Heaney? He's not getting enough love in the community.
Heaney was good last week. He was good last week, Heaney.
541K. He's projected to go 100 and lose another 5K this week. So 535 next week. He's owned by 6% of teams. He's currently averaging 1.1 points per minute. So that would be on the scale of good.
Yep.
Is he worth a look?
Good.
I think he is, but I think he's going to still cop attention. Like, is Goulden back at any stage in the next 4 or 5?
Later in the year, I
weeks,
believe.
Yeah.
Oh, it would be longer than 3 weeks.
Is it not? I thought it was like 8 weeks, and that was done in round 1. So it
Deadly
would be round 9, would it?
I'm not sure. I think when Goulden's back
again. Yeah.
I think when Goulden's back is when I'll start to think about someone like Heaney.
There you go.
Yeah. Sydney do have an okay draw over the next little while, but I think at the moment it's too obvious to clamp Heaney, right? I think when Goulden's back, then it starts getting a bit harder. That's probably when I'd think about him. But it's not a bad shout.
No, it's actually not that bad as when you think about it either. Yeah, with the fixture coming up, like Heaney's still getting a fair amount of the ball. It's not like his position's changed. So it's it's now that you say it, and especially it's around 540K. If he drops a little bit more, it's very tempting.
Fucking oath. Who tips, boys? Sydney at the G?
How did you just call the SCG the G?
I did.
Of course.
Hang on.
It's his English again. It's his English.
That's again. That's like me saying to you, hey, Anthony's brother, how are you going?
He's muted himself. We're just gonna. It's okay. We're not going live anyway, so we'll be able to
let's just edit
that bit out.
Yeah, edit that out. Cop and change. All right, let's start again. And action. I'm gonna go with the Swans in this one, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm going the Swans too.
I think Port might win this one.
Oof.
I hate saying it because I hate Port, but
was this the game last year where one of the teams jumped out to like a 70-0 lead?
Yeah,
that was last week.
But I think it was last year too. Port, 70-0 or something. Sydney were flying, and all of a sudden Port went nuts.
Yep, that's right.
I don't think it'll be that kind of game, but I think Port might have a chance.
Our next game is the Doggies, Footscray versus St Kilda this week at Marvel Stadium. I actually think this is going to be a bit of a cracking game as well because both teams play Marvel pretty well. Now, is Bont back this week, Squid?
Oh, yeah, Bont's back. The best player in the game. He is back and ready to go. I'm not picking him up, but I just hope he gets through the game. That's all I want to see. The tendon is a bitch of an injury, so just good luck to the Bont machine to go absolutely ham.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you go early, Hurls?
Only, and this is a big if you're coming, I don't know, 40,000th, you think you're struggling, you're miles behind. What a good pod, Butters or Bont. Like, bloody hell. That's where I'd go if I was really struggling. Because I'd say, you know what? They're going to be pods for at least a month or two, and that's my only chance. I'd throw the Hail Mary if I was back there.
Mm-hmm. What does Bont's return do for the likes of English? English to a degree, but Richards, Liberatore, the Fridge, these sorts of players. Squid.
Fridge is the one that I see getting shifted back to half back pretty comfortably there. Obviously, Richards lives a little bit. I think we're going to see a lot of forward time for Bont in this game, though, just till he gets his legs back under him. As I said, tendon injuries are a bitch, ladies and gentlemen. Like, they are one of the worst injuries to come back from. So it's going to take a little bit of time for Bont to be able to fully reestablish himself to game time fitness. Yes, he's still the Bont. I understand that. It's just how good he is. But it's still going to be a little bit. So just hamper the expectations to start off with. Watch this game intently and watch the minutes of the rotations.
Is Sam Darcy still being slept on, Hurls?
For sure. I mean, we as a community don't like picking key forwards, but he's the exception, right? He's a freak. So
he's an anomaly.
I think we are sleeping on him, me included. I think if you're looking for someone who, again, is a bit of a pod, who's going to be, he will have some 75s. Don't doubt that. But he's going to have some 140s. So, he is.
Hey, at least we didn't trade him out in round one. Am I right, Hurls?
I know. I'm glad no one in our community did that, Squid.
Yes, so am I. Unreal. Tim English looked good last week. Is it time we jump on, Squid, or do you think that game was just closer to WA?
Hell no. Too far away from WA, not a goddamn chance. Tell your story walk in Spanish.
I was going to say, these two ruckmen, they're going to be so bloody cheap in 3 weeks, both Marshall and English, that it might be tempting. I don't love either of them, but they're going to be real cheap.
No, I can't get around it, Hells. I don't care about Tim Portuguese right now. It's just, I don't care if he's 523k. It's just not for me, mate. He's too far away. I don't know if he's got a disconnect between the midfielders, but it's just the hit house to advantage has been shit house. I mean, look, Tim Japanese just ain't it for me.
You still on those Japanese beers?
Yeah, Tim Chinese told me to keep going on them. They're going real nicely.
Special shout out to Herbie. Lifting 7-Elevens. Yep. Who does Windy tag? Hurls?
I think Richards. I think that's where I'd go if I was. He's the kind of sort of runner that Windy would like to run with, I reckon.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to see him try. I would love to see him try and tag Libba and just get dropped in the first 2 minutes and be like, mate, you're not tagging Lib.
There's a fair chance Libba would just look at him and he'd run away.
Oh, I would too.
Yep.
What a man.
Jack McRae revenge game. He's going to put on an absolute clinic and show Bevo that he fucked him over.
Do you reckon it might be work in reverse? Do you reckon maybe Libba just wants to tell him up to say, hey, I was number one here and you weren't, and this is why? I've got a feeling Libba might go and stand next to him and make it hard for him.
I'd love to say that because we know that there's one thing about Jack McRae. He's not the biggest hard ball get guy, and Libba definitely is. So a contest between Libba and Jack McRae, I know where I'm putting my house loan on. I'll tell you that much.
Yep. Is Nazaya Wanganeen Malera? The Wang is back.
The Wang.
Is he a must-have? He was last week a spike game, or was this consistent to what he could potentially bring? Mind you, he did kick 3 goals, which is the first time he's done this in his career, Hurls.
It is. Must-haves are a hard one to say, but I think he's definitely in the conversation for D5, D6 at the end of the year. So I wouldn't talk anyone out of wanting him or trying to get him, because I mean, you look at it. Sinclair is a must-have. I would call him a must-have, but they're $100,000 difference, right? And week to week, one's going 130, the other one's going 115. So I think they're both ones you could have.
Yep, spot on.
I can't believe that Nasiah Wanganeen-Miller is part of the exclusive 25 disposals, 1 goal average club right now. Like off of halfback. It's unreal. But obviously kicked 3 last week. But who cares? I'll tell you, some club is going to offer him an absolute bag, and the Saints are going to have to pay it, and it's going to be hilarious. And
Adelaide are into him big time.
Yeah,
mate, they're going to have to pay him like 1.7 mil to get him away from St Kilda's nobody wanted to go to their ass. Like,
I mean,
he deserves it. He's so good.
If Ben McKay's worth 1.5, he's worth 700K,
2.6.
I guess. How do we, do you know how we get Jack Sinclair, Squiddy? We talked to Ryan from Astute News, said use the promo code INSIGHT for all your residential home loan and SuperCoach needs.
Did you just give him 2?
Yeah, he's been all right. You know what? He just helped a mate of mine out like you wouldn't believe, and helped him be able to buy his first home. So I know Wilbur is a big viewer of the show and subscriber to the channel. Appreciate you, Wilbur. But for what Ryan's done for you, mate, I'll be eternally grateful for. So Ryan, you're a good bloke.
You know what? Actually, he messaged me during the week and said, "Hey, mate, do you want to refinance?" And I didn't have to do anything. He just checked in on me. I was like, "Hell yeah, I do." So I'm happy to give him a second shout out. Actually,
how good. But how do we get Sinclair?
I already have him. So sucked into whoever does it. But you can't get him right now.
That's the best way. Nah,
exactly right. Yeah, get him while he was cheaper. You can't get him now. Top price? Hell no. You're just waiting and hoping that the price drops. If not, just go to someone else. Who gives a crap? Just go elsewhere. You're not paying top price for him.
Agree. This is one of those ones that it hurts when you don't have him, and your league matchups when you've got someone else and Sinclair kills you, and you start getting bloody nervous and you go, stuff it, I'm going to pick him up. But spending 630 on these blokes kills your upgrade cadence. So I think I agree with you, Squid. If you've got him, you're a legend. Just take that every week and be thankful. But I wouldn't be chasing him until he's under 600.
Exactly right. And I just like that you kept calling me a legend. So, yep, player. Thank you.
Who are the C options? Sinclair and Libba?
Daily Bale.
Ooh,
we haven't said we haven't said Daily Bale's name yet. He's a half-backer. Saints give up a lot of points to half-backers. Daily Bale.
Could be.
You know what you love to see? Supercoach aside, Squid.
What's that?
Shout out to little Archie.
I did say that. Almost brought a tear to my eye. I appreciate you, Jaspy. Thank you, my boy.
What a man.
Archie's going well.
Good. One that wasn't on the question list here. Dave, is he? Do you have to trade him this week, or do you hold him? What's happening?
I'm pissing him off.
I can tell you why I'm holding him.
Ooh, go on.
St Kilda give up the third most amount of points to wingers in the competition. And the last time he played at Marvel, he scored 129 against Carlton, who also give up bulk points to wingers. So I can see an 80 to 90 out of Davo this week, which will slowly start to restart that cash gen again.
Do you guys...
I think this is... Sorry.
Go, Horse. Go
on. I was going to say, this is one of those ones that it's very team dependent, and it's very much dependent on what you're planning this week. Like if you need a rookie that's 300K, that there's not many around, right? So you're either moving on Davo or you're maybe going on someone else. So I wouldn't talk people out of it if you need him, but I'm with you, Horse. I'm not in that cadence this week. I'm a double downgrade, and so he's not going for me because I think he could have a decent game and keep going up in value.
Yeah. CWT, we can see him still active in the chat. Legend of a man. Still sitting in the top 100 too, Squid. So we're pretty interested to see how he gets on throughout the year as well.
Absolutely.
The last game. Oh, sorry, tips. For me, I'm going the upset. St Kilda's going to win this.
Is it really an upset?
After the way they played last week. Yep.
Big a toss of a coin. Jeez.
Giants were good. I'm going the Saints, but I still think Sam Darcy kicks a bag.
I'll go the Dogs. I think the Dogs have to start getting on the front foot, don't they?
They do.
They're a bit behind the ledger.
They're 2-3, and they nearly beat the reigning premiers. And honestly, they could have gotten a good chance against Collingwood as well if the couple of deliberates also didn't go their way. But whatever, we're not going to say that.
Do you know who else is the big winner out of this game, Squid?
Who's that, mate?
It's Jack Higgins, and he no longer has to stay in Adelaide. So
Oh,
congratulations,
yeah.
mate. You're on your way home.
Well done to Jack Higgins. And it's
Yeah.
also us because we get to watch Jack Steele. So that's a big win for all of us. Beautiful our eyes.
Last game. I think this is going to be a cracker
Cats.
on Easter Monday. Cats, Hawks. This one, I feel like if you don't have any plans for the Easter Monday, you got the public holiday off work, grab yourself a couple of tins, grab yourself a couple of Cokes if you don't drink.
Couple of
Sit
chin
down-
whales.
Yes. Sit down in front of the TV, let the missus and kids, give them the credit card, just sit yourself in front of the TV and watch this, because I think this, alongside the Adelaide and GWS game, is going to be one of the games of the round. They always turn it on. It's always close between these two. Hurls, surely the Hawks bounce back in this one after how woeful they were last week.
They can't be as bad as last week, that's for sure. But, and a huge but, they are 4-1 and they're traveling terribly. They can't move the ball like they were last year. They're
ranked
are
11th.
15th in 15th in D50 to forward 50. They're 15th.
Yep.
They are being forced down the line. So I think teams have figured out that if you can get them to kick down the line, they don't have the marking targets to cope with that. So if Geelong, and I would imagine Geelong are probably the best at exploiting an opponent's weakness in the comp. Like, they structure up so well. So I would expect they force the kick down the line and Geelong get it done. But it's going to be interesting whether Hawthorn can work this out, because last year they surprised everyone. They got on a run. No one could figure out that ball movement. It was elite. This year they're struggling with it, and let's see if they can turn around. The good thing, if you're a Hawthorn fan, is they're 4-1 and they're playing like dog shit, really, to be completely fair, and they're still 4-1. So that's a good thing for them.
Yep. Tom Stewart, he's got to be on everyone's radar, Squid.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, mate. I mean, look, we're getting one of the premier backmen at a discounted price. I absolutely love it. So it's hard for this game, like 483K. I think we're hoping for a little bit more, but, you know, he's still going to go down for another week, 162 break even. So we're going to just keep watching and waiting.
He could be sub 450 next week.
Well, they're expecting a 40,000 drop. So, that'd be 443. That'd be beautiful.
It could be in 2 weeks. It could be Roberts to Stewart and bank cash.
Right.
Could be next week. Yeah.
How good would it be? Oh my God.
Should we be picking up Maxi Holmes?
I wouldn't talk anyone out of it. Jeez, he's playing well. He's got a couple of tags, but if you don't tag him, he gets 130. He's a really good footballer.
Is this where Finn McGuinness goes this week?
Has Finn McGuinness been really tagging like that? I don't think he has been, but like, surely you have to this game, because as Hill said, 125 against Freo, 91 he got tagged by Windhager against the Saints. Brisbane 127, D's he got 72, which was just a shit game of football, let's be honest here. And then Adelaide 147. Sparrow, you're right. Yeah, he did too. Yeah, you're right. So, yeah, you have to assume that he's going to cop the McGuinness tag, even though McGuinness has just been playing as a, kind of a forward for the Hawks.
Yep. What are we doing with Connor O'Sullivan and Mitch Nevitz? Hurls?
It's a bit of a dilemma. I mean, Connor O'Sullivan's made you the cash, right? So I think because he's a defender, you can probably jump off him.
Break even 31 this week, though.
No, but he's also in the same boat as your Davo, right? Like, he's got the cash on his head. If you're going to use it, you're going to go from one of those blokes. I think the defender guys, there's more cover in defense to probably justify jumping off Cos before Davo. But again, each to their own. You don't have to get off. You can, because this is what happens with these rookies. We see the break even jump up, but it only takes one more 75 and that resets again, and they keep going up in cash. It just depends where you need to cash in and what your trade plans are. That's all.
Yeah.
I like how you said the positional scarcity as well from between Davo and O'Sullivan, because like I was so like fixated to be like, okay, Davidson's out because Davidson's got a break even of about 65. Connor O'Sullivan's is 31. Connor O'Sullivan can still make me another 15, 20K, and I'm happy there. And I know that last week's game is probably going to nullify him. I like the matchup against the Hawks as well for O'Sullivan, but I just instantly went, yeah, Davison gone, O'Sullivan. But you make a good point of the positional scarcity, because I could easily just bring in Trainer or Pryor, and I'm happy. So
that's right.
Yeah, it makes it.
Yeah,
it makes it a good debate.
That's where you have to weigh up. And I think, look, I'm not saying you have to jump off either of those two, because they both got some more cash to make. I think they're both good rookies, but it's getting to the time of year where you are looking for that 300K bloke to go down so that you can make your cash to go to a primo, right? So if you do have to go one, that's fair enough. Nevitt's the interesting one, because he had no CBAs last week. If that holds, he's got to go.
That's done. Yep.
Yeah, but do we think that Chris Scott maybe puts him back in the middle again? And if he goes back to having CBAs, he'll again go with some good cash gen again, and he hasn't made enough yet. So it's more of a dilemma, Nevitt.
Yeah. Newcomb, if he didn't have those 60s and 70s in him, he would be such a good buy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we know that Hawthorn last year when they were on their red hot run without Will Day, he averaged north of 107 SuperCoach points per game, which, you know, for the price that he's at now, 530K, it'd be great to bring in. But he only averaged, was it just short of 90 when the Hawks were struggling without Will Day as well? And is last week a bit of an indication as to what's to come for Hawthorn? And what I mean by that is, like Hurls said earlier, have teams worked out Hawthorn and they're going to make them kick long to contest and break them away from their speed and their fast ball movement? Or was last week just a sticking out like a sore thumb moment and one out of the bag and they'll go back to the Hawks of old? I think strategically, Scott is one of the better coaches in the AFL. So I'm not too sure whether this week's the week to buy Newcomb.
Mate, I said this to everyone last week, where John Newcomb, everyone looks at the games without Will Day, the average is 107, right? And everyone goes, oh, that's good, that's good. 3 of those games were against North, Richmond, and North again. So, and they were 140s and 160s. Other than that, he was getting 70s. So I'm still again like no to Nuke without Day.
The only counter to that is he doesn't play Sydney or GWS again for the year. So he doesn't have the traditional taggers.
Could get Tom Atkins.
Yeah, he could get, you know, you've still got your fringe, you've still got your other blokes like Atkins, you've still got Sparrow, you've still got Berry, you've still got some of those other type of taggers. I think Newcomb is one of those risky picks at 540K that make or break your SuperCoach season. I think his fixture says you can go there if you want to, but you just got to know that it is a risk. And if it comes off, brilliant.
Hurls, I want you to put respect on the player that is currently leading the tackle count for season 2025, Tom Atkins, who is currently winning by 15 tackles. All right? He is all over him. And I love it.
I don't doubt that, but I think that's the type of matchup Newcomb likes. Yeah, but that's the type of matchup I think Newcomb likes as well. Like he scored 140 odd against Carlton. I think the tougher the better. No, but the contested players, right? So I think he is a buy, but he's a risky buy. Again, where are you sitting? Like this is what I say to a lot of people in SuperCoach. The community goes the same way. Everyone's going Dacos. Everyone's then going to go to the next fallen Preo, blah, blah, Stewart, blah, blah, blah. If you're coming 40,000th, don't go that way. Go someone different and hope you fluke it, because that's the only way you're going to catch up. If you're in the top, like if you're Squiddy, if you're in your, 1600, 1700th overall, then don't go Newcomb yet, because you don't want a pod yet. You want to go with the crowd for a fair bit, and you want some different pods like a Draper in the forward line. You don't want your pod midfielders. Yeah, but you want to pod forward because forward's volatile. You don't want a pod midfield. You want Dacos. But if you're 50,000th and you're 1,000 behind the lead, have a crack at someone different. Go for it.
Damn right. Damn right.
Is Lloyd Meek ready for his good run, or do you think we wait? Geelong this week, he could go off, given that they've got no real ruck.
Hey, you speaking facts there, Horse?
Stanley hasn't been bad though, has he?
Yeah, he hasn't been as bad as he normally has been by his standards. So he's been comparable. So that's good for him. But like, what ruckman are you trading from? You either have TDK, Gorn, or Cherry, most likely, or maybe Nank if you're ballsy. So I probably would you be trading TDK to go to Meek this week? I don't know.
Nah.
No way.
And not for one game. Like the other thing, when I do look at his
Hasn't he
fixture,
got a good draw?
We would have been counting Port Adelaide, Geelong, West Coast as part of the draw. True. Geelong this week, okay, maybe. West Coast next week, definitely. But then he's got Nank, Gorn, Wits, the Big O, Darcy Cameron. Like it's not that great when you start looking at it.
That shit ass.
Anyway, so I'd say probably not.
Yeah, I think I'm with you, mate. Sicily, forward, back.
Oh,
Hurls.
Massimo D'Ambrosio, and I'm not giving him much more because he's been shit.
He has been. Can I give you some stats?
Did you hear the
stats, Horse? I was going to jump in with some stats, and then Squiddy reminded me. Hang on, we've got to get the great man to talk about Massimo first. So sorry about that, but I've got some stats. I've got some stats about Massimo, and this is why Hawthorn are struggling so much this year. So he is. I'm just going to find this. Let me have a look.
He was
last year. He was
something.
top 20 in the comp in total players overall last year. He is now outside. His ball use was 75th overall in 2024. It's 239th in the comp at the moment. 239. That's so. Again, is it that teams have figured out how to stop blokes like him getting those 45-degree kicks, or is it just an anomaly because it's a small random data sample of 5 weeks? I don't know, but geez, it's something to think about.
You'll just take any chance you can to shit on former Essendon players, won't you? Just because they left.
No, I like Matt.
It's so spiteful. It's unbelievable.
I like Matt. and do you know that the pick that we got for Mass was part of the deal we did with Richmond to bring in Archie Roberts, who was this year's Rising Star winner. So I'm quite comfortable with
that's right.
With Mass.
Okay. Hey, look, I'm not gonna. He has a great name, so he's my favorite Essendon player.
Well,
X.
Did you know Paul Salmon made the Hawthorn team of the century?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He played how many games at Hawthorn?
Not many.
After 200 and something games at Essendon? Yeah. That's my favourite Essendon player in this conversation. Sicily, back, forward, bit of both. No, I think he's all over the place.
He's all over. He has to be, doesn't he? Because they've got no forwards. So they have to swing him up there.
Whoa. Mabio Chol, baby. That's it. Whoa.
Yeah. As I said, they've got no forwards.
Who's going to win this one, boys?
Cats, easily. No, not easily, but Cats are going to win. I'm confident.
Murphy's Law says I've given you every stat under the sun why Hawthorn are going terribly, so they'll get up and win now. But no, I think the Cats.
Pissing rain, Cats are going to win.
Oh, pissing rain is an Ollie Dempsey game. He loves the rain, that bloke.
I am going to tip this year's first draw.
First draw, you reckon?
That'd be interesting.
Yep.
I'd love to see Bailey Smith go up and just give the double bird to Nick Watson. That just give a bit of biff into the game. That would be fantastic.
Ginnivan.
That's what I love to see. Yeah, with all their wet hair dripping back and then just a double bird. Oh, that'd be sick. Actually, yeah, Ginnivan should kick a goal, run over to Bailey Smith, double bird. That should be elite. I'll be a big fan of that.
You know what else you could do?
You gotta give him that huck too and spit on that thing. You get me?
Damn.
She's getting a rerun. There you go.
Oh boy.
That's going to do us for our teams tonight. Now, this particular episode that we've got coming up doesn't get any easier to explain each week because the fan the emails, the homing pigeons that come to Horse here, that typewriter type operations on them. You know, it all spells out one thing, and that is that everyone loves a good coning. Kelly Underwood's said it before. Rory Lobbs, our self-proclaimed Cone of the Week nominee, or I guess lead person, player, spectator, whatever he would like to be, having captained the Cone of the team last year. I'm not going to hold you up anymore, Squid, this week, and your Cone of the Week.
I just don't understand how we're not getting better. That's all I just don't get it. Like, as a football community, come on. People in the media, footballers, everyone, we're better than this. But I'm going to go off, and Horse, I'm going to start with her tonight because I think there was worse than her. And I am an equal opportunist Kona. Kelly Underwood, right? Look, I don't know how she's still commentating. It's got me fucked, in all honesty, but she said congratulations to Alex Pearce on his first win, like he hasn't been the fucking captain of Freo for the last 3 years. Like, I don't understand how she still has a job. It's got me fucked, but either way, whatever. Be better, Kelly. You're an absolute disgrace. Look, if Uze plays Noah Bolter, I hate that. I think that's an absolute disgrace. I think he should not be playing football. This is on a serious note. But also, too, the bloke that he hit probably shouldn't have been talking shit about his pizza. But whatever. Each to their own. I don't think Noah Bolter plays. So, Uze, watching there. I don't understand, right, how the AFL is making this massive thing about when someone is concussed, it's immediate 3 weeks, right? We've seen that, Jacko Archer. We've seen that with everyone besides Rory Lobb for punching Mason Cox, but that's fair enough. We saw it with Voss this week as well. But Jaden Short's allowed to headbutt an umpire in the back and he gets off scot-free? Like, are we kidding ourselves? So I don't know how Jaden Short doesn't get 3 weeks reported, but either way, I guess that's play on. You're allowed to punch an umpire, but you're not allowed to punch an opposition player, so that's sweet. But my Cone of the Week this week, ladies and gentlemen, is something that's very near and dear to my heart, right?
Oh, dear.
And my dear mum is going to absolutely fucking hate me for doing this because it's her favourite player of all time. But David King, I mean, come on. We can't be calling players retarded. I don't get it. Paddy Dangerfield kicked 4 goals. He's one of the elite players in the competition, and you call him retarded. It's not on. We can't be using that kind of language. We've got to say special needs. So, Kingy, weak as piss, be better. Come on. Can't be doing that, Horse. Can't be doing that.
No.
I'm not having any of that. No slander. No.
And there you go. David King. You know you're fucked up when a North Melbourne legend gets nominated as Cone of the Week, but there you have it. David King, you are our Cone of the Week.
I'm not going to... I don't discriminate, Horse. If you cone, you will be the Cone of the Week. So, Kingy, and my mum's going to hate that because my mum, as much pain as North Melbourne put me and my mum through, my mum still always wore a David King badge to the footy every single week, was his favourite player. And she's going to message me tomorrow and be very disappointed in me. But he deserved it. It was his fault.
But you know what? That's the only way people can get better.
You're so right. You're right. I'm not here to make fun of everyone. It's just stick a rocket up their ass. All right, King, you better than that. Let's go.
It's just feedback.
Right. Yeah. Constructive criticism. Question time.
Constructive.
It's question time. Let's answer your questions for the week ahead.
Fuck, man, it piss.
Apparently your drinks, Squiddy, pickle juice. Bought Jason Horn.
I would honestly rather anything more than that. I'd hate that. But he's really buff for real.
Josh Strange. Hey, Horse, how many goals do you think Clive Waterhouse would kick in 2025? I like that.
That's a valid question.
I think he'd kick 50.
50?
50.
In the old Freo jumper. Bring that
the old
back.
retro Freo jumper.
God. Oh, speaking of, have you guys seen what the Saints are wearing for Anzac Day, for Anzac Day?
Is it that yellow jumper that looks shit house?
all white with just like just the cross logo straight down the front. It looks so clean.
Good.
Actually, it's their best.
I saw Melbourne are wearing an Essendon symbol on the front of theirs.
The demon.
Yeah,
Well,
I think
they
they
do have their draft pick.
We took their draft pick and they took our jumper by the looks of it.
Dan Gorringe looks good in the Essendon jumper. Oh, by the way, I hope they lose this week because then Dan Gorringe has to go into the North Melbourne rims and go kanga as loud as he can.
Oh, dear. I'm going to do my best to pronounce this bloke's name. I'm looking at doing SDK and Slug to Sanders to Dacos and Clayton Keeleary out of Sanders versus Sligo. There's a lot going on there. What should I trade with the Sligo option? I get 300K to play around with next week. Mate, if you started with Slug, I'd be keeping him.
For sure.
Slug too.
And if you've still got SDK and Sanders, they're easy outs.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be getting rid of those two, 100%.
Our man Deadly, at what price do you consider Colby McKercher? Cheers in advance from Deadly's dog. 250K with that role.
Not in this role.
Yeah, I'm a Northman. I still wouldn't. No chance.
Pitnet back for 1-2 games tops. Good chance he's subbed off at 3/4 time anyway. You're probably right. And then he'll find a way to hurt himself. Yeah.
Let's hope so. Yeah.
I'll be extremely patient with the TDK trade because I don't think Pitnet is going to last either.
Me too.
Wardlaw back. We love that, Jasper. Oh,
yes,
Deadly's going to love this one. CWT, good to have a bloke like Hurls back this week who can see over the comments.
I love that. That's a compliment to one and a backhanded compliment to the other. Sorry, Deadly.
We were talking about Zach Fisher and the lack of pressure acts last week. Cheese, 6 pressure acts might be his record.
That's a very good point.
He does fuck all.
No, 6 pressure acts at North Melbourne. I mean, look at Carlton. He was okay as a pressure forward. It just didn't see the ball down there a lot, but he'd still try it at Carlton.
So what's he doing at North?
He gets a participation certificate, does he?
Cheap kicks, baby. Cheap kicks. We'd love to see it.
Rumor has it that the pressure acts were on his teammates for not giving him the ball. So
there's a very good chance of that. Yep.
Yeah. Jasper, avoid Sam Draper. Kick a drop punt for goal, then get back to him.
No, 7 goals straight around the corner, Big Sammy.
Jasper, I agree with you. It's a tough watch.
Couldn't give a shit as long as it goes through the big 6.
If Sam Draper is a top 8 forward, Essendon top 6.
I disagree.
Only seems logical.
I disagree. I think Draper's a top 8 forward and Essendon a top 6 in the first round draft pick era. So that's fine by me.
Beautiful. Much like North getting free compo picks every year and still doing fuck all.
That's right. Hey, we're building.
Yeah.
Bit by bit.
Yeah. Merritt over Dacos this week. Yeah, I like Merritt. I think this is one of those ziggy zag type calls.
Yeah, Merritt for the run. The schedule.
It's a value versus fair price call though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like Merritt's not cheap and Dacos is. So I understand everyone going Dacos, but having said that, I went Merritt last week, so I would not talk anyone out of Merritt.
I also agree with that too. I get Dacos.
Jasper, good point. It is the Phil versus Harmon Frog game this week. Yes, sir.
Huge. Can't wait to see that.
TR, surely Roberts gets dropped for Mills. I don't think he does.
Mills isn't coming back, is he?
I'd be shocked if out of all the players that the Swans could have, they dropped Matty Roberts for Mills. That would shock me.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be surprised if we see Mills this side of the buys.
Yeah,
he's just
cool.
Yeah, I think they'll go slow with him and make sure he's right for the second half of the year. Be a nice little downgrade for us. Zeret or Dacos? Zeret now leaves me next week without M. Reid and S. Davidson to track and Carroll, or Dacos now gets me Maxwell and Murphy Reid to track next week. Your thoughts?
I'll probably go the Dacos route then, because then you can get track easier. I think that's fine.
If you're really keen on track and Carroll, I don't mind doing Dacos so you can get rid of some rookies that are a little less safe, because Davo's safer than some of those others that he named, like Hall.
trade Sinclair to Nass and bank the cash for Christmas shopping.
I think this is a really good
No.
chat. Like Chris was posting this in the chat today. I think it's a really good conversation. I think he put a stat up something like there was a certain percentage of the top 1% who were doing this exact trade. I said to him that I don't like it for one reason. If you've got Sinclair, that's why you're in the 1% at the moment.
Correct.
And he's your pod. So don't break that to go and make some cash. But I like the thinking. I don't mind the idea of a primo to another primo who's better value occasionally. But I would do it based on someone who's got a role change or I have a bit of a question mark over. And I use the example of like TDK. If you wanted to take a punt that shit and net totally kills TDK and you wanted to go TDK to a different ruckman, I get that logic to make you the 100K and all that kind of stuff. But Sinclair is such a unique pod. I don't like it because of that player, but I like the thinking.
Yeah. I wouldn't do it. No way.
No.
Apparently, Mills is back next week.
Is
Good.
he? Jesus.
Good. Luckily, they have the bye this week, so what Hill said was completely factual.
Geelong do love a good long kick to intercept too, so that's what they'll be aiming for against
Which is
Hawthorn.
good.
And it will be wet too, so the ball will be on the ground a little bit.
The Chris has got the exact numbers there for us as well. 3.5%, which is 65 people of the top 1%.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
I feel like
I'm part of that. Hey,
It's an
I'm
interesting
part of
play.
that crew. I have Sinclair, and I'm not trading him to the side wing and Miller. I'll tell you that much right for free.
I don't want to get stuck into the numbers, so to speak, right now when we're talking the 1% and who people are trading out and who they aren't, because upon speaking to a few people, there's a common occurrence in the SuperCoach world that people will just trade good players to fudge stats, and then an hour before their team's ready to get locked in, they'll reverse that trade and then bring the player in that they want to try and hide who they're trying to bring in. Here at Insight, we're not like that. We post our trades each week, and that's what we do. But that stuff does happen in the SuperCoach community. So I want people to be mindful that this sort of behavior does go on, and people do that to skew figures. So just be careful when you look into those numbers, because on face value, you look at Jack Sinclair and you go, why are you trading him? Because he's got you into the position that he is at the moment. He's got DPP. You can swing him back, mid defender, and he's got one of the best buys in the game alongside Fremantle. So when you look at those figures, you're like, well, it's a no-brainer. And yeah, it is very Pickles-like behavior. So you look at that and you go, well, why would you? And if you want Wang enough, he's 100K less. Why don't you just upgrade when Marich is
Matty Roberts.
Matty Roberts, or Trainer and Zach Reed in a couple of weeks, you could go one up, one down.
Kizza might have been referring to, it's like what we did with JHF though, like where like for me, for example, I went Pickles to Baz. I made the 140 grand or something. I think it is. I think that's a fair call and it's a fair argument. And now in hindsight, a couple of weeks later, I mean, Pickles has burnt me, right? He's got 150 and 119. So I could have got Baz a different way and I would have been better off. But I don't know if Sinclair is the one I would do it from is all. That's the only reason I don't love it. I've done those kind of moves before. I'm not scared of that kind of move occasionally, especially I would do it more in 4 or 5 weeks time if we have a problem with our rookies. At the moment, we've got enough cash gen. If we look in round 10 and we don't have cash gen, that's where I would start to look at the creative ways to generate cash. I don't know that I'd do it yet, although I'm a bit of a hypocrite because I did do it with Pickles, but maybe I think I did it more with Pickles because I just didn't like owning the bloke, and I wanted to fade him all year and stuff.
Yep. Hindsight's 2020, though, isn't it?
It's okay. It's Pickles like, not like
Pickles
what,
like,
not like what you did with
fair
Pickles.
enough.
Yeah.
Fair
But
enough.
either way, each their own. But that's all right. But one thing we will guarantee you of, ladies and gentlemen, is what we tell you guys what we're doing for our trades, for our actual teams, and what we recommend to do for your trades is what we actually do. I guarantee you right now, I will come on here and sing the Essendon theme song for the start of the next week's pod if I don't have Sam Draper in my team this week coming up.
Oh, hang on. Can I ask a question? Squid?
Unless he gets injured.
No. Take the injury out. If Goldstein is
Goldstein.
named tomorrow, do you still
Yep.
go that way?
Yep.
Yes. Okay. All right.
I'm still going Drape.
Do you know the words?
Do we know the words? We follow them. We haven't heard it for a while.
Hey, the bombers inject with all the drugs in the world. What?
Yeah, it goes something like that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us tonight. We're nearly gone 2 hours talking footy. Fuck, it gets away
Jeez.
from us, but that's what we
Go to
do here at
bed.
Insight. We love our footy. We love our banter. And hopefully you've got something out of tonight's episode. Now, Hurls, where can the people at home find you, mate?
Twitter, it's, Silvertop Hurls. Find me on there, although I'll probably be arguing with some people about Essendon or something or other. But yeah, come and talk to me there. Or if you're even better, become a Patreon and come and chat in the WhatsApp group. We'll have a bit of banter. We'll give you some advice. I love helping some of the people out. If they send me their teams privately, I'll help them. So do that.
Squiddy, Punters Club's going pretty well too, mate.
Punters Club's going off the absolute chain, horse, as we always like to say. The boys smack it in there, so make sure that you join the Discord. WhatsApp, and jump into the Punters Club. Link's going to be in the description. Boys, just absolutely go ahead. I think Butler's already thrown one up, which I really like, and it's I think it's one of Brisbane or Collingwood to lead at halftime, and then the other one to roll them, and then Carlton to lead at halftime and North to roll them. So I really like that one.
Yep. Deadly, can we have a 2-hour chat about Gavin Wagnane? Long story short, yes.
Yes.
1993, the year of the Wayne.
You know what? I love it too. Yep. I'm a big fan of Gavin Wagnane, Brownlow medalist.
Yep. Also, ladies and gentlemen, our show is sponsored by Draft Stars. The link is in the description below if you'd like to sign up. If we get enough interest in those signing up and using our link in the description below, Draft Stars are going to create our very own Insight League. So you guys within the Insight community are the only ones that can win money in that competition. So if you're ready, willing, and able and are interested in signing up, the link is in the description below. Jump in that, click on that, enter a couple of teams, and off we go. It is great fun. I did it for the first time last week, and I can honestly say I had a lot more fun doing that than watching my multis lose each week. So it is something to get around. But Squiddy, it's great to have you back, mate.
Pleasure.
For those of you that didn't get a guest in tonight and are listening to this back on either Thursday or Thursday afternoon, your guesses need to be in by Thursday night. Squiddy will have a post up on Twitter. You need to be a subscriber to the Insight channel in order to enter.
Correct. Absolutely. Easy. If you win, that's fine. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
We're just giving away $50 worth of packs each week. It's easy.
Yeah. We're not the bloody Red Cross. We don't do the charity bullshit. Make sure you follow our stuff. Triple bang.
Do you know what? I'm actually going to raise the stakes a little bit.
Ooh.
If you give a thumbs up to this video, or if you thumbs up the video and you get a guess right and you win, you're going to get a standard squeeze prize pack.
Oh.
And I'm going to organize something from Draft Stars for you as well.
Oh, shit. It's not bad. It's not bad.
Yep. And all you need to do for that extra prize is give this video a thumbs up. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. But for tonight, we've been going 2 hours. We love our footy. We love our banter. We love our Supercoach and everything in velvet is the footy. Pearls, thanks for joining us, mate. We've done a couple of podcasts today. We've talked footy for about 3 hours today, but better you and I chewing the fat than having a chat footy with the missuses and them getting sick of us.
Good to be back. Oh, well, mine will chat footy with me. That's okay. But it's good to be back, mate.
And Squiddy,
she's been here for 2 hours.
Yeah, she loves it. And Squiddy, thanks for joining us, mate. We know you're a busy man with being new to fatherhood and all that sort of jazz, but we appreciate your input on the channel and your banter. It's awesome, mate.
Appreciate it always. I'm going to go piss. Let's go. Wrap it up.
Okay, Dad, we're done. See you Sunday night for every. Sorry. Yeah, we'll go Sunday night still, and we'll talk about Monday's show or Monday's game. We'll see you then. Peace.
Footy. Flag Roos.